Hello everybody, this is Floopy-Doo and welcome back to another episode of my Factorio tutorial series. For today's episode, I want to look at the newly released version of Factorio 1.1 that is available in the experimental branch. And I just found out that the Spidertron is not as good with navigating around lakes. You might wonder where I am. I'm in a world that I created way before I started with the tutorial series. That is one of my old bases. I worked on for a few hundred hours. But it's perfect. I have researched everything, and it's actually nice to show you stuff for testing. So, while I'm walking to my maybase, let's get into the patch note and what is actually new, what I'm excited about, and what it actually is. So, I pulled up the patch notes here, and there are actually two major things that is implemented in 1.1. And the first thing has to do with the lovely spider you just saw. Now, before you had the problem that Spidertrons did not adhere to the logistics systems, and therefore they were constantly empty with rockets and so on. And now, if you can have a look in here, you can actually have logistic stuff in here, and I can say, for example, please deliver me iron. And as soon as I get into the range of my nice robot stations, I get delivered iron, and I always have iron in here. I can also say, well, you go away, and it will be delivered again. And if I say I have too much iron, I only want 100 in my inventory, it will take out the other 100, which is absolutely fantastic. It helps you a ton if you want to keep it stocked with rocketry and so on. Here, and that's just a great thing. And the other big major change is this train stop limit. So what does it mean? You have a train stop limit. That means actually you can configure your train stop to only accept a certain amount of trains. And I try to demonstrate that you in here. So right now, well, maybe let's take another train that has lots. This one should have lots of trains waiting. Yes. So I can say when it's not, it works normal as you are used to it. But I can say, well, I only want to have one train approaching that station at any given time. So if I were to say, hey, you go and pick up iron, and then say, well, no, go back to here. There's already a train assigned to the station, and therefore this train I just dispatched from the station and want to go to that particular station can't go there because there is no possibility to have any more train queued, because it says, hey, destination is full, there is more than one train queued for that particular stop. And if I were to say I add 2, it will say, well, problem is not solved because one train is waiting here, and if you can see here, there's another train waiting right here, and a third train. So unless I say, well, I want to have 4 trains allowed here, then you can see the train is running again and finding its way back to the train stop. This is especially handy if you have outposts and that are designated for resource gathering. For example, let's say I have Where is a good... So I were to have like multiple red circuit factories and stops. I can send, well, I only want one train. So if I say I have pickups here and I only want one train that can serve one stop, and then I only have 3 trains blocking here, and all others would route to a different module if you have a grid-based system, then this would help me out because the train would route to a different location. The routing for the train stops is done, or the reserving of a spot is done at the beginning of the journey. So, for example, if the train starts, it reserves, as soon as it takes off of one station, it reserves a spot on this station. And therefore, if it is the one furthest away and you have one train that is closer, this one will not travel to that station because it's already reserved to another train. It's quite handy. It has some downsides, but I'm really looking forward to play with it as soon as I get to my Let's Play series. So let's go back to the patch notes. What are the other features? So I'm very happy with those 2 features, especially the second one. It will make all the stuff quite a lot easier. So another thing you might have seen, and it will be talked in the UI section, but I want to show, they rearranged the whole UI. You can see now, because I'm in the Spidertron, so, but before, let's go back. Before we had a simple menu of your character or the tank or the Spidertron or what you were in the bottom right hand corner. That changed and moved to the left hand side. It also changed how battery is displayed and everything. I'm not sure if I like that change that much. I'm kind of used to having it in the lower right hand corner, but as it is always with change, it's different in the beginning, but I think I will get used to it. Another thing that has changed is the layout up here. It's just a layouting. It looks coherent to the rest of the UI, I guess. So it doesn't really change, but a big change happened here. Before we had like these 3 tabs. One was for the character, for the logistic, one was for changing colors and stuff, and one was for crafting. Those are now gone. It's back to the original UI design that was in 0.17, or was it 0.18? I'm not 100% sure. It was 0.17, I think, and it's changed with 0.18. But now you have the color picker up here of your character. So if you say I want to be purple, if I get out purple now, or pink, I think it's purple anyhow, and everything is now in one screen. So you have your logistics here, and you have all the recipes, and you don't have a 2-tiered tab system you have to navigate through. I like that very much, and I hope and I really enjoy that change. So, for the other features. So you can see that if I go out of the playing of the game, and come back in, I have the continue button that respects the last game you played. So if you are on a multiplayer game, you get to load the multiplayer game, and so on and so on. The one nice thing is the blueprint support. Now when you are on the map view, I will show you in just a minute when we went through all that stuff here. You can place blueprints on the map mode. That is a huge change, especially if you have a lot of tiles. You build a tiled base, grid-based system or and stuff like that, you can just place it from a bird's eye view and not have to deal with the zoom out restriction you have on your character. Then the alert notification that show an arrow, I will show that to you as well. Rich item text selector will help you quite a lot in like naming stations and so on. This one is a minor one. I don't really care for. You now see the unlock recipes, what got unlocked and what is new. So you always see, oh yeah, that's a new recipe I just got from a research and so on. Will be hard to show though because I have everything researched. Spidertron Remote, you can queue commands. You maybe have briefly saw it in the beginning. You have vertical and horizontal flipping. That is a blessing, let me tell you. You might have had the problem where you actually have a design and you want to flip it to the other side of a belt and so on, and you just had to rebuild it because it did not have the support, or you used a mod for it. I used the mod for a long time until it broke, and then, well, I just redid it because it was how it is, and now it's in the base game. That is just amazing. Transport belts locking, also a really good feature. I will show that to you as well. You can turn ghost and replace ghost, which is very nice. And institute fast replace non-ghost. Oh yeah, you can replace those and change. What is it? Which result? Upgrade order or optionally or a direction change order. Okay. Let's have a look at how those features work. So the first one, the change button, I will not show you, or I can hardly show you to that. But the second one is with the indicators. You can see those arrows in the bottom hand, right bottom corner, show you where the notification is. And if I click on that, you see that I got attacked by biters over here. Then the nice feature about blueprints on a map. So let me copy this one. And now I can go into the map view and copy it everywhere as you would use on a normal map. I can just do that and place it wherever it needs. And that is just, it's awesome. One other thing I wanted to know, can I do this deconstruction? Like, oh, nice. I can also do deconstruction. This will also be nice to count how much resources certain build uses. So, for example, my main hub uses, was it about 200 assemblers, about 1,900 blue belts, some logic, some train stuff, 17 trains are here. Or if I gonna look at one of my grids, so that's quite cool, and I can copy everything. I like that. I really like that change. It helps out tremendously in running those grid-based bases. Ooh, Spidertron is dancing. Newly unlocked recipes. I don't think you will see anything because I have everything unlocked. Therefore, you don't see any indication. As far as I'm aware, it is just circle around, but that might change in future updates. We have the remote, so here if I take the remote, I can queue locations I want to go to, which is nice, especially if you have pathing issues around lakes where it wants to go straight through. You can say, well, go here, go around the lake. Don't ruin my fun, Spidertron. The flipping. where can I show it nicely? So here I can say, well, it was G and F if I remember correctly. So before I was just able to rotate it, and then you had the problem the belts faced the wrong way and everything, and you had to rebuild quite a lot of stuff, and it was not really symmetrical. Now I can use G to was it horizontally flip, or F to vertically flip. I hope I said that right. And then you can actually just flip that over and add it over here, and it's all the right way, just the other flip. It's just, that's also quite a game changer, especially if you have systems like this over here, where you have an output belt. So I can take this one, flip it horizontally, and that just neatly goes onto the other side of the belt and works perfectly. So the drag lock is something really nice. We're going out of the Spidertron for this one. So you might remember you built a belt and then you hit something and had to move over, and then the whole belt would do something like that, right? That's no longer the case. It will just, as you see, keep sticking straight, and that helps so tremendously on doing or building long lines and so on, and don't get bothered by, you walk into a tree, that is one of the most thing, and then you see you get just moved a little bit over, and that just messes up the whole belt. That also applies to the ghosts. And please get that away from me. Also applies to ghosts. Now when you have a ghost, let me turn off my RoboPort. I hope I'm... No. When I have ghosts, I can finally turn them around. I can also replace them, which is nice, finally. I can use the upgrade planner on it. So if I take a red belt, for example, I can use the upgrade planner and they get upgraded to blue belts, which is nice. If you have like a blaze that is pre-planned and everything, you can just use that. Yeah. So that's basically what the new features are, and especially the one with planning and doing stuff on the map is really nice and helps so much with building. Oh, one change I remember I wanted to show you is... Oh, I have to go back to the Spidertron. Doesn't matter. So now if you have a train station, you can rename the train station. Yeah, well, I will not save it anyway. So I can say, well, you get an icon. So I can use any icon, add that here, and that icon will be displayed eventually on the stop, which is already very nice. And you can see that on here. Oh yeah, that's my taxi spot. Let's say you are taxi R and dot spot. And if I look on the map, I can also see the dot spot here and so on. It's just generally handy to name stuff. Ooh. So that's my, and you can see it on the map. As it's just nice. You see it in the train schedule, I'm pretty sure, and that helps you name stuff quite a bit. So back to the changelog again. I think I showed you everything that is nice with the features, the minor stuff, or well, it's big stuff still, but it's not as big as the train stops. So we have some stuff regarding blueprints. So you can have a blueprint aligned to a grid. I will show that to you in just after we read through the whole thing here. So you can better move stuff between inventories. Can be placed by moving. I don't know what that does, the equipment. Honestly, I haven't figured that out yet. Replenish when you're placing. So this one has to do honestly, I also don't have to know what it does. Well, item color. So if you have a Spidertron in your inventory, it has the color you have made it previously. You can reset the Spidertron remote. So if you have multiple Spidertrons, you can switch between those with a single remote, and you don't have to have multiple remotes. That is one that they showed on Reddit with a nice picture. That actually Spidertrons, when you try to build a rail system, for example, and the Spidertron happens to stand in the way, so the Spidertron would block the building of the train track. Now the Spidertron tries to move away so you can build a track, which is nice. This one I like about power poles. Those three I like very much because now in blueprints the power poles save how they are connected to each other. They didn't do that before, and they connected to everything like they have with their normal connection logic. And now it's stored in the blueprint, and you actually have it neatly aligned also when you rebuild it, and not like all this zigzag cross and whatnot that doesn't look symmetrical and I don't like, which is really nice. Any mark to this return show target upgrade. Okay. So add attacks. So you have new stuff for temporary stops and so on for the train. Replay, I haven't used replay that much. That is mod related. So, and the last one is the last two are actually quite nice. So if you do an upgrade, then you can undo it with Control C. So on Control Y, I guess undo and redo will also work. So you can undo upgrade you did if you did it unintentionally. And also if you have a SteelSeries keyboard, you now have animation on the keyboard for loading and so on, which is nice. We talked about the graphic changes. There is some optimization stuff. The balancing is quite nice because now you know that productivity modules always had the same speed drawback, even though they didn't have the same productivity increase, and now they changed it so that it also the speed drawback also increases as much as the productivity increase, which is really nice. Then there were a lot of changes regarding UI and everything. I will not go through everything. If you want to go into the detail, you can read through it by yourself. Also, you might have heard it before, there is some sound changes. So I want to really show you a few of the minors, especially the small ones. So let me go back to the game. What did we have? The Spidertron. Where are you? Come to me, please. So now also one thing, the unbinding is with, was it control? Oh, oh yeah, no. Oh, did I do? You have your control. Please come back. So if I, what was it? No. unbinding was... I thought it was shift. No, I don't want to give it to you. So you can unbind it. It used to be shift, but I guess there was a 1. Oh, you are in here. So there was another update. So maybe that changed. How do I... So it's not you. Alt. Okay, maybe it is in the options how to unbind it. I think it was something with shift click, but apparently it's not. Remote. Do we have remote? Spider? Oh. I don't know. I'm really confused why it does not work anymore, honestly. But you should be... Oh, shift right click. Shift right click. Shift right click. Control right click. Well, apparently it's supposed to be shift right click to reset. Or do I have... Oh, I have to click on that. So you have to click on this to reset it, and then you can rebind it. So if you have multiples, then if you have a Spidertron, let's say I want mine to be some strange yellow. The Spidertron in here also has the same color. You also have that color icon up there. The upgrade planner thingy, let's do that here. So I can redo this, which is quite nice. And I should also, can I? Why? Would you not? So apparently so apparently Control C does not, the redo does not work. Well, sadly. But yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you learned some new stuffs. There already are some updates regarding the 1.1 update. There are also two patches already that fixes some stuff that jumped into the game as a bug. And it's always nice to have a new upgrade, and I'm really looking forward to adding stuff like that in my Let's Play series and do some more cool stuff. So, as I said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like or a dislike or a comment below if you want to have me do more tutorial stuff. Let me know what you want and what I should talk about. I would really appreciate that. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next one.